only focusing on COVID. So what we need to look at is how do we help young people, even old people, because it's not only for young people, even old people. Some parents are dealing with so much. Some parents, they don't have food to feed their children. That's an issue. It's an issue that
not
because
even without food, they don't know how to handle how to stay with their children at home.
At home, that is another thing. They have never seen this. You know, for a long for forever, we've known that children spend more time at school and just 2 weeks at home and then 3 months at school. But here comes a situation and it's a full year. You are seated with your children in the house. You actually didn't know who your children are, apart from having them for a few days where you also wake up and go to work and come home. But here you are, all of you at home. They didn't know you.
So it becomes a bit hard for
to accommodate each other.
Exactly.
So it's a big issue that the world needs to appreciate and also look at with a different lens, so that we support each other. The parents need support and the children need support.
How does someone tell they are suffering a mental health issue?
Sometimes it starts with wanting to feel a sense of isolation. You don't want anyone to get closer to you. You try to avoid people. You want
people who usually say, me, I'm alone now. I always want my space. I do my things my own way.
Yeah, even when you are alone, there are those times when you really need to be among people. You cannot be alone for the whole time. So if we want to know if there is difference, one, it affects our even eating habits.
The appetite.
Appetite, not appetite. Yes, they would say, I don't have appetite. If you have that problem, you need to check yourself. Why? Sometimes you have everything you need in the house, but you don't even want to see food. So you find this child or this youth is in the house, everything is there, to say, I don't want to eat. My stomach is full. I feel like not eating anything. I don't want to talk to anyone. They want to be in the room alone. They will enter the room and lock the room. That kind of wanting to isolate yourself from the rest should be a trigger for you to ask yourself, why? This is not me. This is not my personality. So if this is happening to you, don't just ignore it and say, oh, it's a lockdown. It's a new habit. You need to question yourself and say, is this me that I really want? No. And if it is not, what can I do to help? And that's why we are here, to help you take you through what you're going through. Isolating yourself and not wanting to interact with even friends, by the way. You have a phone, you don't want anyone to call you. When someone calls you, you just switch off the phone and put it there, or even just keep watching. You receive texts, you don't want to respond. Those are signs for you to know that actually things are not going well. And sometimes if we let it control us, then it goes to another level. Because it will start by you refusing to pick the calls, it will start by you refusing to see the text or even to read, or read and ignore, and then afterwards you will say, now instead of receiving these calls, let me switch off my phone. People who say, for me, I want to lose weight, so I won't eat. No, at least they even tell you they take fruits. If you really must, but have something, because our body, our inside organs are always working. They are made in such a way that they have to keep working. Their enzymes want to have something. So when you don't put anything there, they'll start eating themselves, because they are looking for what you're bringing in. And here you are saying, I don't want to eat anything. I don't want, when I start to eat, I feel so full. When you see those things starting to happen in your life, you should need to question yourself and be interested. Or you should worry and say, how do I solve this? If you can't take solid food, at least take some fruits, take a glass of juice, take something, because your body needs it. And sometimes when we choose to say we are going to ignore, at the end of the day, the body shuts down. We have seen children, the first lockdown, I know some kids who died out of that. When you try to find out later and you're talking to parents, what happened? You know, for like about a month or so, she started refusing to eat. We would call her and she said she doesn't want to eat. She lost weight, and then you lose weight and it gradually, and before you know, they tell you the kid can't make it out of hospital. So let's try to be intentional and see these signs so that we don't allow them to take over our lives. And also, I think it's also important to know that people who are dealing with mental health will always want to avoid anything that wants to get words out of them. So like I talked to you about the phones and you want to be alone, they will try to shut them down. You know, the phone is off and you don't want it on at all. And then when people ask, but why is it, I don't want anyone to disturb me. So when you see those things happening to you, it should be a trigger for you to question yourself. Is everything okay? You cannot be there that you don't want to talk to anyone at all.
Talk about getting moody.
Yeah, getting. That's why I said you'll meet your siblings in the corridor and you don't want to see them. That is not you. There's something triggering that, and you need to arrest it before it goes beyond. You must have seen siblings who accidentally hit each other, or you hit your sibling and she falls badly and they pass on.
So how do we deal with such kind of people if you have such kind of a person at home?
If you when you have identified yourself, that's now was for self. Now for the other person who is staying with a person dealing with these issues, we need to see how well to get them back to their well-being. Now it's some task. Remember, you're trying to help someone who actually thinks they don't need help, and they think they are okay. And the more you tell them that they're not okay, the more they get angry. And therefore, we must be very, very careful, one, on the words we use when we want to talk to them. We need to assure these people that actually they are still cared for. You care about them. Now, by caring about them, it's not about telling someone, do you know that I really care about you? We must display the care. By displaying the care, you can choose to do things you've not been doing. And this is a task for parents. You see, parents have been busy and running their own affairs and not knowing how children are dealing with so many things. So when you sense that your child actually could be having an issue, you need to also question yourself. Am I doing things right? If I'm not doing things right, God, please help me, give me a sign of how I can actually help my child. Now, by helping your child, one, you need to create an environment where there is a friendly feeling within a home, a kind of care. If your child says, Mommy, please don't knock on my door again. I don't want to see anyone. I want to be alone. Okay? That should worry you as a parent. Okay? So once you have a chance to, even if it means standing on the door and talking, you're not seeing your child, but you're talking to your child, because the voice passes through. There are words these kids have been expecting from parents for many years. They have never come. They have never come.
They hear those words.
Other kids say, oh, my father loves me. You know, my father did this for me. My father told me this. But your child has been waiting for ages, have never had that chance. So even when you try to knock on your child's door and she says, Mommy, I want to be alone, get that stool and sit on that door.
Talk to them.
And talk to your child. You will talk to your child as if you're talking alone, but trust me, your child will be listening, and they will be inside there crying. And the crying will not be of anger. It will be of finally hearing the words they really wanted to hear from their parent for a long time. Now, parents, sometimes we don't know how to display love to our children. We even tell them, do you know how much it means to tell someone that you love them?
You have a tough love.
Some parents think they have tough love. Yeah, we need to display the love that children want to feel. This is my father, this is my mother, I am sure that nothing can harm me if they are around. I'm sure if this house was on fire, my father would hold me and say, you won't get burnt. They want to feel that kind of protection. So I encourage parents to find a way of displaying these kind of emotions to your children. They want to hear them. Some children think that parents do not care at all. And the parents feel they care so much, because as parents, they think if you've bought food, if you've taken the child to the hospital, if you have given them shoes, the designer shoes and the designer shirts, and you gave them money to go to the salon of their choice, you know in your heart that actually I think I'm the most caring parents. But care, it is very difficult to measure, especially for the one who wants to receive it. There are kids who have everything that they need, that you think you've given them, but they are so lonely because all they need is that hug and assurance that I am here. Never feel worried about anything. So when a parent gets on that door and says, my little girl, whatever is worrying you should not scare you, because I am here. I am your mother, I am your father, I care about you, I love you. I am so worried about what's happening in your room. What are you thinking about? Is there something you want me to know? At that moment, you can even apologize for not being present, because many times parents have been absent in children's lives. So you can apologize and say, I am so sorry, you may have needed me so many times and I wasn't there, but here I am. I just want you to open this door and give me a hug. Give me a hug and tell me what you want me to hear. I am here to listen. Some young people want that assurance that someone is there to listen. Now that brings me to the issue of psychosocial support. Counselors are trained to listen. That's what they teach us to do.
Where you need to bring in counselors?
Yes.
As a parent, you cannot be able to talk to your child.
Yes, yes. Now, when I say that, get your stool on the chair and try to talk to your child, even if you're not seeing them, I'm trying to tell you that some children have something they want to listen to, but they've never had a chance to listen to it. So say it. Let that child hear it and actually get shocked. Hey, did daddy say he loves me? How come I've never heard him say it? So in their heart they say, oh my God, oh, it's me with a problem. Maybe I'm now displaying so much, I'm worrying my parents so much or something. So that they also know that actually, even though you thought your parent doesn't care, there is that point that you need to see that actually this is your father, he cares so much.
So let's talk about parent-child relationship. The fact that now we talked about, children being back home and parents, they are not used to being with each other for long. There are lots of misunderstandings that are going to come about.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that these two are able to understand each other and harness the misunderstandings that are going to come about in a harmonious way?
Yeah, first of all, we need to embrace the issue of communication. Yeah, sometimes parents think it is not important to explain to a child. You are my child. Why should I have to explain to you how things should be done? Now, that's one lot of parents. Also, we have those who wish to communicate, but they are scared. They even know how, but they're like, how do I tell this girl? How do I start? And those are the many ones. Because I think about 80% of parents who call me to speak to their children, they know. They know and say, I don't know how to tell this girl now. What you do, here she is. Ngambi let you know, and then we shall see. So parents themselves, and I don't want to blame the parents. You see, we also have parents who became parents not because actually they were ready to be a parent. So it's also important to understand that parenting is not something very small and
not even them being ready. When they were growing up, they never had any moment when their parents came
to talk to them. In an environment where we grew up, you wouldn't have any discussion with your parents talk about what? It would be ordering. Go do this, this is what you're going to do today, and you don't question. Today, if you tell a child clean this place, they say, why me? Why not the other one? Everything that you want to talk about, there is a question. And that is a very difficult situation for parenting today. When you understand who your children are, it becomes easier to deal with them. If you embrace communication, which means you have a time in a day, you say every week on a Wednesday at 5, we shall sit and try to talk about home. What is going right, what is not going right, what should be improved, what is missing. Are you happy with what's happening? Do you even like the food? You know, there's even buying food and bringing it home, but everyone at home hates that food. Now, because for you a parent and your work is to spend and bring, for you, when you think you've brought, you think you've done your part. But does it make sense where you bring food at home and actually they are not eating it? So having those discussions and dialogues can help to create an environment where a child will be free to say, Mommy, by the way, this is happening. Mommy, by the way, there is this friend of mine and this is happening in their lives. Now, when you start opening discussions and people are free to talk, it is only then that they can even have a chance to talk about what is affecting themselves, them there within. Because now that Mommy is talking, let me also bring out this. But where you've never said we are going to sit down and have a discussion or have a chat or have a moment to just be us, it means there is no chance for a child to express themselves and talk to you. But also it's important to note that communication, it's even difficult for old people, couples. So if you can't communicate with your fellow older person, how do you communicate with that? So it's a whole complex, but we don't want it to be a complex. We want people to appreciate each other and also know that we are all different. Even children are different. We have parents who love comparing children. I don't like it. Where you want to say, how come you got these marks and your sister got this? Did you see your neighbor's, our neighbor's daughter, how she walks? Huh? Why can't you walk like her? You know? So that kind of thing, of statement can really put a child down completely. For you, you're saying it easily because it's easy to say, but it has a great impact on the life of a child. So it's important that for parents to handle this, they must be ready to come down to a level of children.
How bad can it get if a mental health issue is not solved?
Suicide. I summarize it all to that because it's the biggest I have seen.
Very dangerous.
Even now, in this week, I think there are 2 girls I have seen, about one in Buama, another one in Masaka, who committed suicide, fell off the house and died. And one of them was actually a relationship issue, boyfriend.
And you're telling me before that some of the kids were asking you how they can escape from home?
Yeah. Some kids call and say, Auntie, I am tired of this place. Just tell me how to escape. And I first ask them, why are you escaping to in the first place? Do you think where you're going, life is better? So when I get those issues, now I have to first come to the parents and try to discuss what's happening at home. Why does a child want to run away? Is everything okay? Then I get to understand the issue and then solve it step by step. When I talk about suicide issue, it is the most extreme that normally happens when depression hits the ceiling, where you feel now it doesn't make sense anymore. What am I even doing in this world? No one cares. It's that issue of saying that sit on the door and talk to your child even if the door is locked, they don't open. If you can't talk to your child and give her assurance that actually it is possible to change that child already has options in that room. We must have, even I think in the lockdown we saw a young boy who hung himself and over small issues. When we don't deal with these issues and get them to be discussed, now that's, again, it brings me to listening. I told you counselors are trained to listen. A child who is dealing with depression has so many things to talk about, so many. But she's wondering, is interested in listening to me. And that is why sometimes when they come for counseling and you're having a session with them, you assure them that now today, talking is you're the one talking. My work is to listen.
And you make them free to be able to.
Yes. You first become friends with them and assure them that it is well. And I'm telling you, they talk about things. Some of them happened like 10 years ago and parents forgot long ago. They've been keeping them. So when you allow a child to speak, it is healing. Speaking is healing. But many times they don't have a chance to speak. They have no one to speak to because they believe no one cares. So even that's when I say that when a parent feels that it is impossible for her to deal with that situation, at least get someone in the family that is friendly to that child and give a call and say, you know what, there's a situation. Can you please get your phone call and talk to my daughter and see what's going on? Because what we need is for this person to speak up and speak about what is disturbing them. Once they speak, they feel a lot of relief, a lot. So the more they hold their issues within, the more they are held hostage. And the more they feel that it doesn't make sense to even continue living. So seeking professional help is very key for parents. They need to know that counselors are trained professionally to listen. You know, there are people you won't go to talk to, and before you start even one sentence, they have already interrupted. You start, another one is interrupt. But counselors are trained to listen. And we listen to everything, even what you think doesn't make sense. That is why if you watch investigative issues, they'll tell the victim, say everything, even that you think doesn't make sense. Because you want everything that's affecting you within to really come out. And this child will have been waiting for someone that will come to give her a chance to speak. Because for a long time, when she starts talking, you interrupt. What are you saying? Before you even hear what she's saying, can you stop there? And then she's like, why should I even waste my time?
You say something as well. So that's the reason you've been quiet.
All this time.
Really? Come.
Before you even listen. So a child will say, do I have to continue talking? And parents need to pay attention to children who sometimes want to say something and just in a blink of an eye said, never mind, it's okay. Because they are trying to summarize you as a parent, that you don't care, so it's okay not to care, so don't mind. Now, never ignore the word never mind, because they are trying to actually shut down a situation where you would have actually helped the child. So when they say that, also remind them that you really mind so much. You can never stop minding about your child. And we use our gadgets to be motivators. Can we inspire people using the data that we have? Or must we only use our data for our own selfish reasons?
You talk about that as you conclude the issue of social media, the way it affects
young people. Yes, it is terrible. It is big, and I want all parents and all young people to listen to this. That social media, whereas it is good and it's a place where you meet and share and talk and laugh and joke, it is also a big issue for young people. We have had issues of pornography, and children are being actually encouraged. Right in your house, your daughter could be being asked to undress and send a picture. And the pictures are used to blackmail them. If you don't do this, I will share. You know I already have this. I can share even on your platform for the school. So that alone will kill a child's self-esteem. And therefore, for you young people, don't be taken by what you see on social media. Do not Do not give in to demands from boys, young boys and men who are asking you undress. Please, let's try to avoid being victims of social media pressure, especially in regard to nude videos or pictures, so that we protect our image and ourselves and our dignity. Because when you grow up, you would want to look back and look at your childhood and you love it. I don't think you would love it if you grew up and someone brought you a picture of you at 14 and naked. You wouldn't love it. So let's try to protect ourselves and also know that yes, social media is there, but use it the right way.
You have put it right. Thank you so much, Hope, for speaking to us. I hope the young person out there has been able to benefit from this discussion. Taking good care of your mental health is paramount. You have no other option. My name is Ivan Tumkonde. This show is proudly brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, Office of the President, reminding you that you need to put Uganda first in all that you do. I say bye-bye to you. See you next time.
Youth of Purpose, brought to you by Uganda First.
Patriotism is a feeling of love, devotion, and the willingness to sacrifice for one's country.
I say no to corruption because I put my country first. I choose peace over violence because I put my country first.